Catch and Cook Unseasoned, the video series where we catch every single fish and cook them up raw to see which one is actually the best tasting. And it's time, we're doing the one everyone thinks is gonna be the best tasting, the flat boy, flounder. So now we're gonna have to do a couple things, actually catch a flounder and then catch a benchmark to compare it to, hopefully, a sheep's head, which we already know is in the A tier. And funnily enough, it starts right here at HEB. Pretty cool, man. Down here on the Texas coast, some of these HEBs have some pretty good fishing aisles. We had to pick up some popping corks because you know what we're gonna be using, the slip bobber rig, and I was running a little bit low on those guys. You don't really think of the slip bobber rig to be a flounder fishing rig, but in the last video, man, we kind of did pretty good on it, and the good thing about it too is it can also catch those sheep's head. Now, we just need to pull up and get some live shrimps. It's a great time of year, dude. We got shrimp. There can be a ton of sheep's head. There can be trout. There can be schools of drum, redfish, and even flounder. It's a great time of year to fish. Catch a quick, giant flat boy for the boys right here, real quick. There's a guy, but what is it? This is definitely a flathead. A flathead, it's a freaking flathead. Oh, that's a nice flounder, boy. Not nice, is it a good one? Any flat boy is a good flat boy, huh? Boat flipped him. Woohoo! Keeper. Dude, I thought that could have been like a 20-incher. Yeah, that's a guy though. That's a freaking guy, dude. Classic flat boy. You cannot hold on to him. Let's see. 17. Buddy. We've got a flippy flopper on the loose. There you go. The freaking flat boy. I don't know why everyone always shows them on the white side. I think the dark side is a much cooler looking fish, man, but it's a freaking flat boy. I was calling him a flathead. He probably did not enjoy me calling him that. Unfortunately for this guy, he is flat. And if you catch a flat fish, you keep a flat fish, if it's a keeper. And that is a keeper. Let's get a measure. As usual, you're gonna be way off. That is right on the dot. About 17 right there. Boys, I'm freaking addicted to flounder. I freaking love them, dude. Not even just eating them, but just catching them. It's so fun. It's so cool catching such a different fish like this. Different morphology, different way they act, places they are, and how they eat. In some ways, it's like completely the opposite of speckled trout, my favorite fish. Pop! Woo! He's strung up and he's getting out there. Don't flippy flop too far. Look, he's trying to fight on the stringer. I need to make a stringer that has drag on it. Live shrimp going on. The only thing right now is all over the jetties. There's a ton of pesky sheep's head that wants to eat our live shrimp, taking it away from the flat boys, but if we're lucky, the flounder will find it first. Right now we do have like a 1 ounce weight at the bottom of our slip bobber rig, so it's kind of hard to detect when there's a bite. We just have to believe the flounder are so dumb that they'll eat it for a long time, even if they get the hook. And there's another one. Oh, I dropped him, boys. I don't know. I'm so pumped to catch some flounder. And I think I just dropped that one. Could have been a sheeper, but usually the sheep's head will leave the whole head on there. There's a guy. That's gotta be a sheeper though. The way it's fighting, yes sir. That's the one that's been stealing our shrimps. But I'll take him. Come on, Mr. Sheeps. Unfortunately for this guy, he's coming home with me, I think. I'll probably open him up. He'll probably have like 6, 7 of my shrimp in his stomach. The reason I think it is the same one, which I might be wrong, there might be a bunch down there, but I think it might be the same one just because they keep hitting exactly the same spot. And look at his belly. He's got some belly on him. Woo! I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that guy makes it on the measuring board? Hey, don't get me, buddy. Don't get me. Don't get me. You son of a gun. You've been stealing all my shrimps. You know, I could use pliers, or I could just put all my fingers just right around his big old teeth. Woo! Got him out. What do you guys think about that guy? You think he makes it to the big 15-inch mark? Let's check. 16 and a half. He goes on the stringer. Where is that at? This is what you get, you son of a gun. Steal all my shrimps. You get strung up when I finally do get you. Woohoo! You're going with your flat boy friend. It's a good tasting pair of guys right there. So I got to tell you guys, when you're stringing up fish at the jetties, the number one most important thing, you got to find a good spot to put them to where they're not going to get washed under the rocks and pinched between them. You put them in the wrong place, they're going to get stuck between the rocks, and there's absolutely no way to get them out. And you end up just wasting all the fish you had, and you just end up killing them, which is not what you want to do. Find a good spot where they're going to be safe. And then what I like to do is tie them off so they don't have a ton of extra line. Scary close to the rocks. Perhaps stupid close. Yeah. Now what do you know? We keep passing that spot. We were getting all those bites where that sheeper was. And now we caught him, and now we're not getting any bites there. So I think that was the guy. No bites for a little bit, so we move out deeper in search of some more fish. And I think there will be some guys out here. The stringer is still intact. I was kind of thinking someone might take it, man, but it's still here. Acrobatics, parkour, parkour. There we go. They came right out, easy peasy. Woo! Look at those guys. Look at the fellas. It's time for the one that everyone thinks is an easy S tier, the flounder. We've got our flounder fillet, and we also have the sheep's head as the benchmark. Check these fish out, man. Even just looking at the fillets, you can tell they're very different. The flounder has some very small myromeres, and that sheep's head has much larger ones. And how will it rank on the unseasoned fish tier list? The only way to find out. The Catch and Cook unseasoned flounder, going in with just a little bit of neutral oil as always. Just right in with a little bit of our neutral oil. Both the sheep's head and flounder going in right now. And one thing that people have said, fish of the same species can taste different from fish to fish, and that is actually completely true, man. I've had sheep's head that had a very mild flavor, slightly sweet, and it was very good. And at the same time, I've had other sheep's head that kind of had a vegetal taste to them. It wasn't bad, but they definitely did have different flavors. Not to mention, if you do get a bite of that bloodline, they can taste gives you a little bit of a different taste, doesn't it? But we're giving it the purest taste test we can, the unseasoned taste test. All right, fellas, fish is coming off, man. Get your predictions in now. Is it gonna be in the S tier like everyone thinks, or maybe it will be surprisingly low? First test, the visual test. How are you guys feeling about it? The fillets always look a little bit weird, completely unseasoned, but usually they end up not being too bad. And first up, we start off with that sheep's head as that comparison. Oh, that's a pretty mild tasting sheep's head, which is not actually a bad thing. All right, fellas, time for the flat boy. How is it gonna taste? Well, what do you want me to say, fellas? It was very good. No, absolutely no off flavor about it. Nothing tasted bad at all. And again, the thing that a lot of people want from their fish is a very mild flavor, and it did have a very mild flavor. A little bit, I got a very little bit of like a grain flavor. And you might think that's from the oil, but the sheep's head did not have that flavor at all. So it is coming from the fish. So where's it gonna rank up on the unseasoned fish tier list? Olivia, bring it up. Not gonna lie to you guys, I kind of wanted it to be not that good, because you know, it makes it for a little bit more interesting video. The fish that everyone thinks is so tasty and everyone wants to eat, what if it ended up being not that good at all? It would have been kind of nice for the video, but no, it ends up in the S tier. You sons of guns in those marshy areas are lucky because you have a lot more flounder to catch than we do here, but luckily we can still catch some now and again. What do you think is an underrated tasting fish that you think a lot of people overlook or might not even want to try? Love you guys very much. Be safe. We'll see you guys next time.